Greetings, fellow action figure connoisseurs, and welcome to another episode of Digital Caveman Presents Marvel Monday. I, as always, am your host, the Digital Caveman, and today I will be presenting you with the CT Toys Mafex K.O. number 96 Wolverine. Let's get into it! Let's start things off with a look at the packaging, and this package is pretty beat all to hell, my friends, and this came shipped to me from AliExpress in a bag. Now I got the brown one also, and it at least had some bubble wrap and was put in a bag and then shipped, but it arrived in pretty decent condition. This one, not only is the packaging beat all to hell, you can see the figure is in the package backwards. So you get a nice packaged look at Wolverine's butt. But other than that, it's pretty much the Mafex packaging from what I understand. I don't have this Mafex version, the Mafex version of this Wolverine. Only this CT Toys K.O. version. But here it is. I'm the best there is at what I do. And, you know, the box like they used to put on the comics. 6-inch. He's number 96 of Mafex. They forgot to take it off there. So there's a nice big blister showcasing Wolverine's behind. And then there's some nice, looks like practical photography. Wolverine comic version action figure. Wolverine, X-Men, and MAF. On the bottom, small print, fine print, legalese print, made in probably China print. Ages 15 and up. Warning, don't stick things in your pie hole, and a barcode. Made in China. Yes, it does have made in China print right there. So on this side, we've got Wolverine, X-Men, and a nice product shot. And then Wolverine's head. Nice product shot. Wolverine comic version action figure. MAF, number 96. And then the X-Men. X in a circle. Wolverine, X-Men, MAF, number 96. Wolverine comic version action figure. And you can see it's got a nice big like sticker with stuff on it right there. I'm assuming from the seller put that on there. So it's got, you know, some stuff in here in Japanese and a little bit of English mixed in, and nice product shots throughout showcasing the figure and the accessories, even though we can't really see it all because of this. So snicked, and then some more small fine legalese print here at the bottom. That, my friends, does it for a look at this piss poor packaging. Let's take a look at the figure and the accessories. And here we have handy dandy tweezers to help us take a look at some of the accessories. So let's start off with the, you know, the down mask, I guess you call it. When he has his mask off, using the unmasked head. So you look, we've got some paint chipping, or maybe some slop even right here. And then this one's a little bit sloppy as well. Sculpt wise, you know, it's decent. Doesn't look bad. It looks like what it's supposed to. And I'm sure this is very, very similar, if not the exact same as the Mafex piece. Sculpt wise at any rate. Next up we have one of two alternate sets of hands, and you can see it's got that shiny blue, and then the silver paint is real shiny as well. And these are kind of like reaching out to grab your hands, and you notice it's on the little sprue like Mafex hands come. Only the Mafex that I've dealt with, which were the DC ones, you know, the sprues that they were on were clear. And when I say sprue, it's just it's basically just a peg. It's not connected. They just pull right off. You don't have to clip them off or anything like that. Here are the fists. These are actually the hands that come on the figure. And they do have nice sculpted detail on them and their fists. That nice blue shiny paint and the silver. And there are two fists. And they're exactly the same except for one's a lefty and one's a righty. So no paint slop really on these. Well, maybe a little bit right there. So next up we have the unmasked head, which is not bad looking. And I have to say, even the decos on it are pretty decent. Maybe a brush, a dry brush through the hair would have been okay, or maybe even a wash in there. But the details on the face look pretty clear. The eyebrows are a little fuzzy looking, and it does look like they use some type of inkjet face printing technology on this, similar to what Hasbro uses, but maybe not as fine of control as what Hasbro has on theirs. And I will say it's a bit, the coloring on this is a bit cartoony looking. Here we have his grimacing come and get some face. And sculpt wise, again, very good. I don't see a whole lot of paint mess ups on this. The eyes look pretty crisp. When the eye slits, I guess, look pretty crisp. And then again, you can see where they kind of use that inkjet type printing on the teeth. It looks like, anyway. It looks like maybe they missed the top teeth a little bit. And then, the back side, not a whole lot to talk about there. Now let's talk about, excuse me, the stand. And this is pretty much, like a Mafex stand. And what you get with it. Now, I don't know about the original Mafex release of this, but, the DC Mafex that I have, they had several different pieces for the armature. And basically, it goes together like that, and then it has screws in it, so you can tighten it up because it's pretty loose right there. And then this piece is a ring clasp. And so, like I said, the actual Mafex that I do have came with several different pieces for the armature, and it actually came with a straight peg too. But this one does not, and I don't know if the original, like I said, I don't have the original Mafex release of this Wolverine, so I don't know if that's what it came with or not. So let's talk about the figure now. And again, there's a little bit of chipping maybe with the paint there on the face, and a little bit of slop as well, perhaps, or maybe those are his sideburns. Yeah, it looks like his sideburns kind of sticking out of the mask a little bit. So, but sculpt wise, it looks really, really good. I have to say, the edges here look a little bit rough. They feel a little rough too. But, from a distance, you don't really see that too much. It's got that nice blue, shiny, glossy paint. Excuse me, which I don't really... Excuse me. I don't really associate shiny costume bits with Wolverine usually. I mean, yes, it's yellow and blue, so it does stand out, but, reflective pieces on it, it just doesn't feel like Wolverine paint wise, And then it's got the stripes here on the side. And then some red and black for the belt buckle, the X buckle there. And then again, that shiny blue paint for his trunks and his boots where they're not black. But, you know, I have to say, the sculpt on this is pretty good. And I think they did, you know, very good job here with the hairy arms. They look really good. And then again, the blue paint here for the glove and then on the hands as well. Here we go with the claws. And you can see the piece for the claws is just, you know, it's glued into this hand. And it's like one piece with all three claws on it. Which is fine. And they didn't go through and paint in there, because I can see that would be kind of difficult to do. Now, to me, the claws are a little bit long. And, you know, the straight bladed claws are not my favorite look for Wolverine, but, you know, that's the way they decided to go with this. And then, you know, there's these shoulder pads. And, yeah. Anyway, let's take a look at his articulation and how well he moves. So he looks up that far, and there's a dumbbell going into the head and a ball at the base of the neck, and the neck is a separate piece from the head and the torso. He looks down that far. He does, well, he's got a little bit of chicken neck. He's got tons of waggle. He can do the full exorcist, and it seems to want to do it from the neck and not the head. So butterfly joint at the shoulder, goes back that far, goes forward that far, so it goes way forward. And it also, you know, I call it a butterfly, but it goes up and down a little bit too, because the arm has a pin that runs into the torso, and this is like a cup piece that it runs through. So there's that. He can raise his arm up that high, which is a little better than 90 degrees. 360 degrees of rotation there. And the shoulder pad here is pinned in the back, and it can be adjusted somewhat. It's cut here at the upper bicep for a full 360 degrees of rotation. Double hinged pinless elbow, and it gives you that much bend, so that's pretty good. And then the wrist is on a ball joint, and it rotates around, and you can do it up and down, side to side, and, you know, different. You can do it at different angles because it's a ball joint. So at the torso, he's got a cut where the chest and the abdomen meet, and it looks like it's got a ball joint in there. So he can turn a little bit to the left and the right with that, and he can lean left and right with that. And then there's a ball joint at the waist, so that gives him all kinds of hula with both of those working in conjunction, and all kinds of leaning to the sides. He can lean back that far and crunch forward that far. At the waist, he also has a 360 degree rotation. And mine is really loose here in, you know, like this joint, and the waist joint is really, really loose. So that's something to be aware of. Now I'm going to go ahead and tell you, when I pulled mine out of the package, the shorts came off after the legs fell off. So I did have to glue the trunks back into place, and it wasn't difficult. It wasn't a big deal. But what is a big deal is the leg joints seem to be a little bit stuck in the, you know, doing the splits. That's really about all the splits I can get out of these legs. Now they will go up and down, and they do rotate here a little bit, and that's on both sides. And, you know, it will kick forward pretty good, almost about 90 degrees. We'll call it 90 degrees. And then back, not really much at all. And it does have a pull down hinge, and it operates okay. Double hinged pinless knee, and it gives you that much bend, so that's pretty good. And then there is a boot cut in the shin, and it doesn't you know, it kind of gets tight, but it will give you a full 360 degrees of rotation. But watch out doing that with the knee. You might want to hold the knee because it feels like it's a little soft there. Then at the ankles, oops, wasn't supposed to do that. So anyway, the ankle, it does tilt down that far, and it tilts up that far, and there is a pin in it which gives it rocker, and it's on a ball joint just like the wrist, so you can rotate that around and do different things with it pose wise if you need to. He also has toe tilt, and it goes up that far and it goes flat with the foot. And that, my friends, is a look at the figure and his accessories. It's time for my favorite part of a review, comparisons. And here we have the CT Toys K.O. Mafex Yellow and Blue Wolverine with the Marvel Legends series Apocalypse Build-A-Figure Wave Wolverine, the Marvel Legends series Love Triangle 3-Pack Wolverine, and the Marvel Legends series X-Men 97 Wolverine. For our last set of comparisons, here we have the CT Toys K.O. Mafex Yellow and Blue Wolverine, with from the Marvel Legends series making his cameo appearance, Stan the Man Lee. From G.I. Joe Classified series, the Hasbro Pulse exclusive Regal variant Cobra Commander. From Star Wars The Black series, the Archive Edition 501st Legion Clone Trooper. And for a 7-inch scale comparison from the Masters of the Universe Masterverse line, the 40th Anniversary He-Man. For final thoughts on the CT Toys K.O. Mafex Yellow and Blue Wolverine, or Tiger Stripe Wolverine, whichever you prefer to call this particular costume, it's a little bit of a mess. At least for me, it was. And, you know, getting KOs can be great at times, and it can be frustrating at times. And this is one of the times it was a little bit frustrating. Starting with, you know, the figure came packaged in reverse, and it wasn't packaged very well. You know, and the shipping, you know, packaging wasn't very well, and it was beat all to hell by the time I got it. And, you know, the little bit of paint slop going on here, which is pretty much to be expected with a KO. And then, you know, some of the edges of the figure aren't, they're kind of rough, especially like the wings on the mask. You know, there's edges on there that are kind of rough and not real smooth. Overall, you know, the sculpt is really good. I can't say how this really compares to the Mafex, the actual Mafex figure, because I don't have that one, and that's, you know, pretty much why I got this one. That's why most people get it, because the aftermarket price on that thing is just astronomical. At least to me it is. You might find it to be quite affordable, but I don't. And so, you know, that's the main reason I got this. And I was curious about, you know, the quality of CT Toys KOs. And I can honestly tell you it's kind of all over the place, because this is not the only one I got. I got the brown costume Wolverine as well, and it fared much, much better than this one. But some of the issues I have with this really stem from the Mafex design. I don't particularly care for that straight edge to the claws, and they seem to be a bit long. The glossy, super glossy, shiny, metallic almost blue that was chosen for the blues on this figure. You know, those are things that CT Toys just copied from Mafex, and I don't particularly like that. And did I say the shoulder pads? The shoulder pieces, pads, whatever you want to call them, they don't work very well, at least to me. And it may be different on the original figure, but I don't really think so. The yellows look really good. The blacks look really good. And, you know, for the most part, I have to say, you know, if you missed out on this figure, it's one that you really, really wanted, then maybe your experience might be a little different than mine. Oh, and the legs. Let's not forget the legs. And, of course, his trunks, I had to glue back on. And then the legs seem to be where they won't do the splits as much as they should be able to. And I guess that's all the issues with it. It's this one is kind of a mixed bag. And again, anytime that you're taking a chance on a KO figure, that's exactly what you're doing, is taking a chance. And you know, this one isn't the most horrible knockoff I've ever had. It's not the best one, but it's not the most horrible. And I will have to say, you know, it pretty much follows, at least my experience with actual Mafex, it pretty much follows the sculpt and everything that the regular does, where sometimes you'll get a KO and they might be missing a point of articulation. This one doesn't really seem to have that issue. Just in production, something with the legs happened. I don't really know exactly what it is. It's almost like they're frozen, but I've warmed them up, even using the heat gun, and can't get it to do proper. So there is that. Again, like I said, this one is a little bit of a mixed bag, and you know, it's got some parts that are kind of loose, and I don't know, I guess I could go on and on, but you know, again, I took a chance, and you know, I'm not completely dissatisfied with it, but a little, I guess, more disappointed than anything else. A little disappointed with it. So if you want to take a chance on this guy, and you really want that Mafex style Wolverine, and you don't mind, you know, if he's sitting in the back of the shelf, you're not going to notice some of the issues with him. But you know, there it is, my friends. That does it for the review. I hope you enjoyed it. I enjoyed making it. Only support from viewers like you make this programming possible. Each view does count, and I do appreciate each and every single view I receive. Thank you, and thank you so very, very much for supporting this channel through viewing. If you are interested in supporting my channel further, I'm now offering memberships at various tiers. Click the join button on my YouTube page, or check this video's description for the link and see if any membership offers are right for you, but only if you are in a position to do so. Comment below, like, share, subscribe if you would like to see more content, or just help the channel grow, or both, that's even better. And don't forget to ding that bell so that in the future you will be notified as my new content becomes available. That's a wrap, folks. I'll see you next time.